Welcome back to the Waistline Podcast. I am your host, Syatt, and thank you so much for joining. If this is your first time, the Waistline Podcast is for anyone who's trying to lose weight. Whether you're just starting, you're finishing, and you need to maintain, you're someone like me who's in the middle, or maybe you're just looking for inspiration to get started. This podcast is for you, and I'm so happy that you're here. If you would like to be a guest on the Waistline Podcast, please email me, waistlinepodcast@gmail.com. That's waistlinepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll set up a Zoom to talk. I'm very excited. Later this week, the invites are going out for probably next week to everyone who's been hitting me up over the last couple months. I love doing these little chunks of interviews, so please email me, waistlinepodcast@gmail.com. I can't wait to talk to you. So, very quickly, before we get into our guest for this week, I had a pretty good week losing weight last week. I lost 3.2 pounds, which is exciting. And even more exciting than that, I'm officially over 115 pounds lost, 115.6 to be exact, because as anyone who's losing weight will tell you, that 0.6 matters. That's why when I go to the doctor's office, I bring a pair of shorts because I'm not weighing in with jeans on. Not a chance. But I'm doing pretty well. Weight loss has slowed down, which it will, but the last couple weeks it's actually been pretty good, and I attribute that to dating someone with kids because, as it turns out, a 6 and a 3-year-old combined have so much energy that it should be illegal. I really haven't spent much time around kids in the last 10 years, and I forgot that they just get up and are ready to, like by 8 a.m. we're watching movies, we've played tag, we've played hide and go seek, we've played the floor. I'm happy to announce that the floor is lava. It's still going strong. It's a great game for kids. Sorry, my nose is itchy. I don't know what's happening, but it's itchy. But I being in the pool with kids and throwing them, spinning them around, doing little jumps, my back legitimately felt like I'd done a CrossFit workout. It was crazy. But hey, whatever helps you lose the weight, you got to do it. So losing 3.2 pounds last week was great. I don't know what I'm going to be like this week. I hope I'm doing okay. I probably have somewhere between 50 to 70 pounds to lose. But I do have to say, I rewatched my talk with my guest this week, Nick, prior to doing this, just so I could refresh my memory on what we talked about. And we recorded this in April of this year, and that was July, June, May, 3.5 to 4 months ago. And it's nice to see that I've lost weight. So, I mean, I it's weird. I know I've lost weight. The number's gone down, but to see the difference in my face made me feel good. So I'm very happy about that, and I'm just excited to share this talk with you because Nick, he just turned 20, and happy belated birthday to Nick. And he started losing weight when he was in 8th grade, which I wish I had done. And not only did he lose 60 pounds, but he's been able to, for the most part, keep it off. Sometimes it goes up and down like it does with everyone, but Nick looks great. And it was really nice to talk to him about it because he spoke about something that I think a lot of us deal with. Is he spoke about how helpful his mom was in helping him prepare food, going to get it, and keeping him on track. And I know, especially for me, and I talk about it in the episode, of how sometimes your parents or loved ones think they're being nice and they get you food that they know you like, or they make you something, and it's hard to maintain your willpower or self-control when your favorite foods are being put in front of you, and how helpful it is when you do have people in your life who support it and will either cook around you or just, continue to support you and motivate you. So that was really great. We talk about everything from doing macros, which I'm still not doing, and just how Nick was able to keep it off for 6 years. He started in 8th grade, which is just amazing. We've had another a bunch of young people on, but Mike, he was 17 when we recorded. And there's a lot of great people who struggle with losing weight, and it's nice to see that two young people, like I said to him on the episode, I wish I had done it when I was his age. So the fact that he's doing it and sticking with it is just so amazing. And I wanted to share this episode with Nick with you very quickly. This episode is brought to you by Sheath Underwear. To celebrate my losing 100 pounds, Sheath sent me their underwear. I love them. They sent me the red ones. They have a bunch of different colors and styles. Go check them out. They're extremely soft, extremely comfortable. They have 2 pouches. You can only imagine what those pouches are for, and they're not for candy. But go to sheathunderwear.com. Check out everything that they have. They're an American company. They are a veteran-owned company. The owner of Sheath Underwear came up with this idea on his second tour in Iraq. His name is Robert Patton. He's a great man. He's very nice, very supportive of me, and he's going to support you with Sheath Underwear. Go to sheathunderwear.com and use promo code Syatt, SYATT, to get 20% off of your first order. And every order of Sheath Underwear comes with the Sheath Underwear 100% money back guarantee. Go to sheathunderwear.com and use promo code Syatt. Get Sheath Underwear and let them support your balls. So thank you so much to Sheath for supporting me, and thank you to you for supporting Sheath Underwear. And thank you very much to Nick for coming on and sharing his story. Take it away, Nick.
Well, I was short as a kid. So, like, when I first started losing weight, I was 5'2", but I was 190 pounds. So it just stacked on horribly, and I looked just massive.
Yeah. Trust
yeah,
me, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
So was 190 your heaviest?
Yeah, that I know of. After 190, I just kind of stopped checking because I was just sick of seeing it going up and up and up and up. I might have creeped up to 200, but 190 is the worst I ever saw.
Right. Wow. And how old were you?
I was, I think, in 8th grade. So 13 or 14.
Yeah. And how old are you now?
I'm 20. I just turned 20.
Okay. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And what was your issue when you got up to 190? Was it just snacking, or how did you get up to that weight?
It was just horrible eating. Like, my mom, she would just buy anything for me, and I was a video game lover. I'd sit inside, play video games all day. I'd grab a box of like Twinkies. Them fuckers would be gone in like 2 minutes, and then I'd go out and grab another box.
Yep, I'm the same. I'm not saying I hope it's not her fault. She was trying to do something nice,
Yeah.
But yesterday my mom, she went and got her vaccine, and on the way home she was picking up lunch for herself and got me one. And last week my brother was here, and they had bagels for breakfast, and with lox and cream cheese, which is my favorite. And I was able to say no to that. But when she came home yesterday with a fresh steak quesadilla, I looked at it and I was like, I'll wait till, because I can have it. I can have it, but I try to wait until the nighttime so that, I'm good with my OMAD. But I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I broke down and my calories were, I had like 1630 last night, so it's not terrible. It's still within my range, but it's higher than I like it to be, and it's also the 3rd day in a row that I had cheese, like a lot of like melted cheese, and I know that's not the best. So it is tough especially when people who love you get you something that they know is going to make you happy. Like my dad did the same thing when I was in Florida. I told my dad about my favorite candy, and he, in his head, he knew that I was on a diet, but he still picked up 2 bars, and he's like, I got these, and I was like, I can't. I literally picked them up and put them in his room so I wouldn't see them because I would have eaten them. But are you still living at home?
Yep.
Me too. So how were you able to lose the weight, and when did you start?
I started when I graduated 8th grade. I went into high school and I noticed, I just kind of woke up one day and it just like snapped. I was like, I really don't want to be like this anymore. And I sat my mom down basically and told her, like, I'm going to lose weight. Listen, like, I can't be eating all these things. And I started intermittent fasting. That's how I lost all my weight. I didn't do OMAD, but I did almost the same thing, just a big meal at night. And it
Okay.
took a while of like figuring it out, but I ended up just writing like a meal plan every week with my mom, and we would go to the store and just buy a bunch of meals, and she would cook them for me. She was a lot of help for me actually.
That's all. And does being big run in your family? Is that something that a lot of people struggle with, or was it mainly just you?
I wouldn't much say like obesity, but definitely being like overweight. My mom, she's not overweight, but kind of everybody else, yeah, a little overweight.
Right. And that's amazing. I talked to another a guy named Mike who's 17 right now, and is in the middle of losing weight. But I'm very jealous that you were able to do that. And so in eighth grade you were like third. So that's amazing. So it's been close to 7 years.
Yeah.
I want to know. Can you kind of expand a little bit on maybe what that conversation with your mom was like? How was she receptive to it? Because I think a lot of people struggle with getting other people on board.
Yeah. Yeah. At first she was kind of confused because her being my mom, she just tried to tell me that I look great.
Right.
I don't need to lose weight and whatever, but she was she was very happy with me actually. She was surprised because most of my kids are out running around, hanging out with friends, and literally all I did was just sit there and research stuff about fitness and losing weight and all that shit because I'm in love with it now. That's what I want to go into. But yeah, she was all in, and it kind of helped her too, kind of get healthy and lose a bit of weight. And
That's
so, yeah,
awesome. And so you said you started a meal plan where you so 7 years ago. So that was like 2014 or something. Okay. So were you listening and watching podcasts, or how did you get the information?
not really. I stumbled across a guy. I don't know if you know who it is, Grego Gallagher,
I don't believe so.
Kino Body. I was into the Kino Body shit for a while. It taught me a lot about calories, just intermittent fasting, calories in versus calories out, learning my maintenance calories and what I should eat in a day, a deficit, and just basically like my macros and just percentages of protein, fats, and carbs of just what's healthy for my body. I didn't know anything. When I first started losing weight, I asked my mom, like, what are carbs? Like, what's carbs?
Right.
Like,
You mean I can't eat just Twinkies?
yeah, exactly.
I That's one thing that I still haven't really gotten into. How long did it take you? Because for me, all honestly, all I'm really doing is counting calories.
Yeah.
I'm not having candy, not because it's not healthy, but because if if I'm only having 1,500 to 1,600 calories a day, that's two candy bars. I can't live on two candy bars. So, like, that's the main reason. But I know that protein makes you full. And I
Yeah.
actually just got an email today from this woman who was telling me that I should switch the iceberg lettuce to a darker green lettuce. Um, and I haven't looked into any of like the macro stuff. How long did it take you to really get that under control and to like understand what food you could eat and hit your goals for that?
It took a while, dude. Like, probably like a year of just consistent learning and tracking. Like, because I would base it off of percentages of my calories. Like, so I would eat 1,600 calories right around there too for a while. And I would do like 40% carbs, 30% fat, and then like 30% protein. And just eventually I kind of like weaned off of it though, because I just tried to simplify it. The most important thing is just tracking your calories for losing weight, anyways, because at first I was trying to kind of be healthy with it, but
Hmm.
I don't care about the macros all too much anymore. But
Okay. And how much weight did you lose?
I went from 190 and then I dropped all the way down to 130.
Good for you. And how long did that take?
I would say consistently like a solid year or so for me.
Okay. And how did your friends and people at school react? Were you more popular? Did you have get more girls, or was it same old, same old?
Well, it was kind of same old, just more recognition. Like I lost a dramatic amount through like a summer break, and then I
Oh,
came
even better.
back to
Okay, so you
school.
came back glow up. You're like, boom.
Yeah, I was like,
Uh-oh,
"What's up?"
Nick's here.
Fuck's up. Yeah, they didn't even really. They were like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "What do you mean?"
I've been in the same school with you for 10 years.
Exactly.
Okay, so and so God, so it's been probably about 6 years then that you've been able to keep it off. Has it been a struggle? Are you still doing intermittent fasting, or how have you been able to maintain it? Because honestly, I think that's almost harder than just losing the weight is being able to maintain it.
It was tough. It was not easy. I definitely slingshotted a lot through like the whole 6 or 7 years, whatever it's been. I've slingshotted. I've been back up to 170. I've been down honestly as low as 125 because I kind of had a body image thing too. I just wanted to lose more weight. I would see abs and everything. Like I would have abs. I just wanted to lose more weight.
Wow.
It was just a bad relationship, I think, from the start of it with intermittent fasting. I just got to the point where like I don't know, I was just having a bad relationship with food.
Right.
I would eat a lot. It ended up making me binge. Like I would just binge eat.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So, how long have you? Where are you at right now with your weight?
I am right now. I am 5'9" or so, 160.
Okay. And is that have you found that's a better place for you to be as opposed to like the super skinny 130? Like, do you feel
Yes,
more comfortable there?
I feel stronger. I also throughout all of this, I've been strength training. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
And
helped.
and how long have you been able to maintain this?
I'm doing really good. For the last 2 years or so, I've been maintaining about just my physique, just getting stronger, hopefully.
That's awesome. And did the working out did that start in about ninth grade too? Did you start looking into that? Okay. And so when you say strength training, what sort of stuff are you working on?
Well, first it just went from just, I would sit on a machine and just fucking like 100 times because I didn't know what I was doing. And then I started bench pressing, squatting, and all that stuff, and just wanting to get stronger. So that Kino Body guy, I bought some of his programs to do.
Mm-hmm.
And up until about 2 years ago, I was running those programs and it got me somewhere. You know what I mean? It helped me learn the basics. But the last year and a half or so, I've been really into powerlifting.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you mentioned that you had a bad relationship with food. Have you been able to, or how have you been able to adjust that? And do you feel like you have a better relationship with food now?
Honestly, I quit intermittent fasting.
Okay.
For me, it was just, I don't know. So how I routed it is I would just go 4 hours into my day and I would have a banana because I couldn't just eat only one meal. I don't know. You have crazy willpower to do that shit. I just can't do it. But
Well, trust me, I don't have any willpower, so thank you. But
yeah,
I when I was a little bit younger than you are now, when I was like in end of high school, early college, I worked a lot of minimum wage jobs, and at most you got like 15 minutes for a break, and I
yeah,
wasn't smart enough to bring food, so a lot of times I just didn't eat until later, and the issue with that would be I would overeat
yep,
because I was just so hungry. So the only thing I've been able to do now, other than yesterday with the quesadilla, is I do get hungry. Like right now, I'd love to eat a little bit of something, but I know that if I can wait until about 7 o'clock at night, that it'll be a lot better for me because the nighttime for me is where I just all my the little bit of willpower that I have just goes completely out the window at night. Um, but that is something that I hear a lot that they say, oh, you won't be able to intermittent fast forever, and I don't know if I'll be able to do OMAD forever. I know if I have a family or if I start dating again, um, that it will be a little bit more difficult, but if I don't know if you know who my brother is, Jordan. He's a like a personal trainer, fitness dude on Instagram, and we talked a lot about it. And what he said is that there are some like minor um benefits to the actual fasting, but the majority of the benefits are just that you're in a caloric deficit.
yeah.
And he he actually stopped doing intermittent fasting too. He had some of those same eating issues when he was on intermittent fasting. And to be honest, I know that sometimes I'm too strict. Sometimes I should probably eat more. I do. It's rough because sometimes like on Monday I weigh on Tuesday mornings, or
Mhm.
Tuesday actually after I wait till the afternoon to see if I lost some more weight. But I weigh in on Tuesdays, and on Monday nights I have a go-to meal of I have 2 cans of tuna, and I put light mayo in it and I mix it up. But I don't have bread, and instead of bread I have baked chips because I like chips more
Yeah.
than I like the bread. But it's usually under 1,200 calories my meal that night, and I know that's not sustainable for a nightly thing. But with the tuna, so going back to the macro sort of thing, I do feel pretty full. Like I'm not sitting there, my stomach hurting. Oh,
Yeah.
I need to eat, and I'm just forcing myself not to.
It's a
But
shit ton of
what do you say?
it's a shit ton of protein in tuna. Yeah.
Right, and the mayo, and then I always have a big salad with it. Um, so I don't feel like I'm in danger with it yet, but I still have so far to go that well, thank you for agreeing with me. I have so far to go that I haven't gotten to the place yet where I'm obsessing about it. It just to me still seems really far off. I have about 35 right now. When this comes out, hopefully I'll have less. But we're recording this on April 9th of 2021, and I have about 36 pounds to go until I hit 100 pounds down. And I
Damn.
feel like when I hit that, I'll still have, God, at least 50 to 60 pounds, if probably more than that, to get to where I want. Like I'm trying to maybe hit 150, which I haven't been since
Wow.
I was in eighth grade. Um, so that's gonna be a stretch for me. But I'm trying to. The last guy that I just spoke to, um, we spent a lot of time talking about mental health, and that's what I'm gonna start working on now because I don't I don't want it to become an issue because I know for me mental health has been an issue before, and I want to make sure that I don't do all this work and lose all this weight and then just kind of fall back into old habits because I get sad. Um, has mental health been an issue for you? Have you been working through that, or has it not really been a thing for you?
Mental health is probably what spiked it all at the beginning. I said it was just like eating or whatever, but there was fuel to just sitting there and eating. My dad passed away when I was like 9.
Oh, I'm so
So
sorry.
I'm over it now. I don't really care that much, but like I would just sit there and eat and eat and eat. That's the only way I would just feel better. Is like, I don't know, I didn't want to go out and see people. I didn't want to say hi to anyone. I just wanted to talk to people over the internet and
Mm-hmm.
shit talk people and play Call of Duty and eat food. That's what made me feel better. The next thing I know, I was like a whole different person. I ballooned.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome that you were able to get it under control when you did, and I hope even if you do slingshot again, I hope you're able to maintain it because I know, God, I'm almost 13 years older than you. Um, that I wish I had because I've gained and lost weight so many times, and I was over 100 pounds heavier than you. I was like 120 pounds heavier than you ever were, and you're taller than me. Um, so I just I'm so happy for you that you're able to be where you're at, and even if it does come back, I hope you don't wait as long as I did to get it under control. I think it sounds like you're able to. I guess that's a good question. When you do slingshot, when you do gain weight, how long does it? How are you able to not because the I don't know if it's a not a rumor, whatever the word term is, but the old wives' tale is that you gain everything back plus 15 pounds, and that's been true for me. I haven't been able to notice that I'm gaining weight again. How are you able to like take control back when you do slingshot?
It's tough. Well, first you gotta, see it, and then you see the weight and everything. I think it's just really sitting down and just being honest with yourself. That's what I had to do because, well, I went through phases of I would cut weight, then I'd be like, okay, I want to bulk. I want to get bigger and fill out with muscle. And I would end up just letting myself eat more. Obviously, I'm bulking. Okay, I can eat more. Next thing you know, I'm just fucking going back to my old habits and just balloon up. You don't really notice it, like you said, until you're like 15, 20 pounds heavier.
Right. Well, I mean, and I would notice it, but I would make excuses, or yeah, it would just be a whole bunch of excuses, and I would, for me, it was really hard. That's why, like with like some people might listen to this and say, oh well, you can't have a candy bar every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. Maybe someday, and I'm sure I'll have candy again at some point. Um, and all of that, but I'm not someone who has like legit cheat days. Like
Yeah.
on Tuesday nights, I'll give myself a little bit more calories, and I just had a quesadilla yesterday, so I get to have a small bit of food that I do really crave, but it's hard for me to totally not even binge, just like let go. And even if I was able to keep it at 2,000 calories, for example, it's almost like I treat it as almost like a really like strong drug addiction. Like if I were a crack addict and I had just a little bit of crack, I'm gonna get that taste of crack again,
Yeah.
and just be nonstop. I I I honestly feel like if I was to go to fast food like McDonald's or candy again, I honestly don't know if I'd be able to get it back on track. Because in the past, that's what happens is I would lose. I've never lost 100 pounds. I think I've lost at most like 85, 70, 90 pounds, something around that before. Um, and I started either I hit a plateau or I um, just give up I get bored and I just start slowly going back into the old fast food habits, and it that's what I was saying about the old wives' tale. They say that you gain it back plus 15, and it just every time it's almost exactly 15 or 20 pounds more than I used to be at my heaviest. And so right now what I'm doing is I don't allow myself to have any of that because I don't feel like I can right now. But I was I would wonder if there were other young kids, or I used to hate when I was your age when people would call me young. I'm like, I'm not young, I'm an adult. But to me, you're young. Um, if there were other people your age listening, do you have any advice for how to get started, or how to do any of this stuff that you've been able to do?
Honestly, I think if I could narrow it down to just one or two tips, my first tip would just be kind of take it slow. Don't rush into it because then you're just going to be fucking flustered and you'll just kind of want to quit. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of happened times. I would just be learning so many different things and be wondering 50 different things that like I just eventually had to like write it down. Like, what do I do first? You know what I mean? Like calories, this and that. Learn about the food, learn about this. Do I start training? And then second, just find something that really works for you. Because if you don't have something that works for you, it's not going to stay on ever.
Right. That's great. Okay, I'm really happy. Happy that you said all that. And the last question that I have is, because it looks like to me it looks like you're in great shape. Was loose skin an issue for you, or were you able to catch it at a point where you don't have a lot of loose skin?
I caught it at a pretty good point. I have some like kind of like on my arms. I can pull a little bit,
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hanging. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't have any on my stomach or anything like that. Not to the point of having to get like a bad surgery or whatever. But
Right. I'm almost definitely going to have to have that option. I don't know because I was talking. By the time this comes out, the episode will already be out. But I did an episode with John Glod and he's obese to beast on YouTube. I don't know if you know
oh
who
god,
he is or not. Um, but he blew up on YouTube, and it was actually on Ellen because of a video he did showing his loose skin, and he made the decision not to get the surgery, it's like 30 grand, which is
Damn.
an obscene amount of money. But he actually had people, because of the video taking off, he had people offer to pay for it for him, and he's made the decision to kind of keep the skin as sort of a reminder and like a badge of honor. That's what he said, and I can see the benefit of that, because I've done the thing where when I lost weight, I would throw away all my fat clothes, and then I have to buy more again when I gain weight. So I would hate to get that surgery and then gain weight and ruin my skin again. But the vain part of me, if I can afford to get it, and I know there are risks to it, but if I can afford to get it, I think I might, because I'm losing all this weight because I want to be more comfortable in my own skin, and to go from one problem to another seemed like, in my head, when I heard him say that, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't even lose all the weight. Maybe I should stay a little bit chubby, just because then you're chubby. And that's a crazy way to think. But I'm happy for you that you don't struggle with that, and I'm really happy that you're doing so well, Nick. So thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much to Nick for coming on and sharing his story. It's amazing. Like I said, I've said it a lot of times before, but the fact that you're able to lose weight is great. But the real test, and the test that I'm looking forward to, is when I'm done with the actual act of like losing and I can just maintain. The fact that you can maintain, especially for as long as you have, Nick, is a big inspiration. It's really great that you're able to do it, and I think you can help a lot of people. I also think it was great talking to Nick about how the mental health aspect in it came in. I felt terrible when I found out his father passed away, but that's something that I think is helpful, because there's always going to be something emotional in my life that will make me want to eat, whether I'm angry, happy, whatever the seventh dwarf I'm feeling that day. I'm like the eighth dwarf, but whatever dwarf I'm feeling like that day, there's always an excuse to eat. And I can completely understand why Nick gained some weight after his father passed away, but it's very nice and refreshing to hear that he was able to turn his life around, lose 60 pounds, and more importantly than that, keep it off. And hopefully you're inspired by his story, because I know I am. So thank you so much to Nick for coming on the episode, and thank you for watching and listening. Like I said, my name is Lee Syatt. Please email me, wastelinepodcast@gmail.com, if you would like to be a guest on the Wasteline Podcast. I'd love to talk to you. So thank you so much for watching and listening. Thank you to Sheath Underwear for supporting. Go to sheathunderwear.com and use promo code Syatt to get 100% money back guarantee and 20% off of your order. So if you don't like it, you get your money back, but you're not going to want your money back, and you're going to be spending less money when you go to sheathunderwear.com and use promo code Syatt. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I will be back next week with a brand new Wasteline Podcast.